Order, order.
The ayes to the right, 228. The noes to the left, 348.
The ayes were 228, the noes were 348, so the noes have it, the noes have it. Unlocked.
Well, yesterday we saw terrible scenes, in my opinion terrible anyway, with Labour MPs cheering because they'd won a vote in Parliament, and the vote was to cut winter fuel allowance for about 10 million pensioners who don't qualify for pension credit. So these pensioners, many of who have put more in the system than anyone else, have been refused 300 quid to help with their gas and their electricity, their heating, their cooking facilities. They've been trodden on. Some of them been sentenced to death by this Labour government led by Starmer. And you might think I'm being melodramatic, but no. That can mean, for some of these pensioners, life or death. Let's make no bones about it. Labour themselves said that if the Tories ever cut it, it could cost 4,000 extra lives in the elderly community. Now, I don't think Starmer gives a monkeys about the pensioners. Do you know why? Because all the analytics will say that after you hit 50 years old, you're more likely to vote Conservative. He's obviously done the maths and thought, well, they didn't vote for me, I can just tread on them. So what we'll do, we'll send £11 billion overseas on some green nonsense, and we'll hit the pensioners. We'll hit those that have worked all their lives. We'll hit those that have saved a little bit to take them over this pension credit threshold. Let's hit them. Absolutely disgusting. I've spoken to two types of Labour supporter in the last 24 hours. Those that can't believe what their beloved Labour Party is doing, letting the pensioners down, letting domestic abusers in a lot of cases out of prison so that people that have said hurty words can go in. Can't believe the hit that Labour are making on free speech. Can't believe that Starmer can stand there and justify, not rioters, obviously they deserve to be in prison, but people on a protest against the government for the last 14 years and this new Labour government, to be honest. People on a protest were getting pulled out by police when they're not being violent, they're not inciting hatred, they're doing nothing, being pulled out by the police and then being told, right, if you plead not guilty, you'll go to prison anyway. You'll be remanded in custody. You won't get bail. Britain, our grandfathers, our great-grandfathers and our great-great-grandfathers fought, died, gave everything to make sure that we had freedom of speech, freedom of expression. And what we've got now, Starmer is just shredding that history, treading on their graves basically. And these Labour supporters saying, oh well, when I voted, I never ever thought that he'd go back on his promises. You never thought he'd go back on his promises. The bloke hasn't told the honest truth in his life, I don't think.
I want to pay tribute to Jeremy Corbyn, who's a friend as well as a colleague.
You wouldn't call Jeremy Corbyn a friend?
No. We have to make the case for freedom of movement. We don't want open borders. Freedom of movement has gone and it's not coming back.
Cutting off power, cutting off water, Sakir?
Well, I think that Israel does have that right. I was not saying that Israel had the right to cut off water, food, fuel or medicine. Wounded by the media, the Sun in this city, a hurt for this city. And I certainly won't be giving any interviews to the Sun during the course of this campaign.
Did you write an article for some newspaper the other day? Surely that's not going to gain you any support across the Northwest.
Would you write for them again, Sakir?
I would do, yeah.
Can you guarantee that under your leadership, the 2019 Labour commitments to nationalise water, energy, rail, the Royal Mail, they'll all be in Labour's next election manifesto?
I've made that commitment.
Will you nationalise the big six energy companies, yes or no?
No.
No, you will not.
By the Home Secretary was the wrong decision, and I think it was a rushed decision.
In 2019, you said stripping her of her British citizenship was the wrong decision. She's lost her appeal to regain it. Should she be allowed to appeal again? Should she be allowed back here in order to face justice in the UK?
I think the court decision yesterday is the right decision. The Labour Party in opposition needs to be the Labour Party in power, and a government doesn't go on picket lines. A government tries to resolve disputes. I'm really pleased to be here this morning supporting the staff at McDonald's who are on strike. Air quality, climate change is the issue of our time, and as the Extinction Rebellion protest showed us this week, the next generation are not going to forgive us if we don't take action. I think they're wrong. I think their action is wrong.
You have to choose now between Davos or Westminster.
Davos.
Why?
Because Westminster is too constrained, and, you know, it's closed and we're not having meaning. Once you get out of Westminster, whether it's Davos or anywhere else, you actually engage with people that you can see working with in the future.
And you didn't think he'd go back on his promises. And yes, the Tories were absolutely awful. Absolutely awful. Open borders, which has caused a lot of our problems. People say, oh, you're far right. I'm not. I'm sensible. If you let 1.2 million people into the country in a year, or 2 years, or 3 years, where are we going to house them? That means you've got to build, let's say some are families, you've got to build at least half that number of houses to house them. Otherwise, up go house prices, up go rents, supply and demand. The Tories were awful. But in the last election, I went round campaigning for a smaller party. A lot of people told me, oh no, we're gonna vote for reform. And I understand that. I'd be honest with you, I would vote for reform rather than Labour or the Tories. But for me, they are controlled opposition. Farage, charismatic as he is, he wanted Tony Blair as the vaccines are. Tice and Bull wanted mandatory vaccination for care workers. I'm sorry, really bad examples of their judgment. And of course, you know, they're funded by the same people who fund the Tories and in some cases Labour and the Lib Dems. So to me, they're not an option. But I respect everyone's views. But Labour, voting Labour, Starmer, with all those lies before the election, what do you expect?
Last year, the Prime Minister was apparently drawing up plans to remove the winter fuel allowance from pensioners.
How much cheaper will our bills be?
Under a Labour government, we'd freeze those prices. We wouldn't allow them to go up ever. And that ought to bring down the household bills by about £400. An awful position to put a pensioner in. To reduce the energy bills by up to £600. We should freeze energy prices. So will he now rule out taking pensioners' winter fuel payments off them?
The news we've heard in the last few minutes about these astronomical increases in prices is striking fear into the hearts of families right across the country. And that is why Labour are saying the government must act. They must freeze gas and electricity prices through the winter. They should pay for that with an extension of the windfall tax on the oil and gas companies who are making huge profits, and use that money to keep bills as low as possible for everybody else. That is the right and fair thing to do. That is what Labour would do, and that is what the government must now press on and do. The fact that no government minister is available to come on your programme today is just appalling.
If you're a liar, I don't know if you're a born liar or if you're a political liar, but if you're a liar through and through, if you've got a husband or a wife that cheats on you, not once, but cheats on you, let's say 6 times, different men, different women, what are the chances that one day he or her says, that's it, I'm being loyal to him or her, and we'll just, that's it, I'll keep me knickers or me zip up? What are the chances? Yeah, practically zero. And that's the same with Starmer. And anyone who voted for him, they've been caught with their trousers or their knickers properly down. You must be blind. And so don't moan about this now. They're liars. The Tory parties are liars. For me, Reform, they've got some great candidates, I'll be honest. I think they're liars. But they have got some good MPs, so there we go. I don't know. But Labour and the Tories, lies, 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 lies. The Lib Dems. Remember last time they went in coalition, oh, we're going to scrap student tuition fees. Oh, we're going to whack the student tuition fees up. They're liars. Clegg, World Economic Forum linked. The same as the Tories, Labour and Reform. Lib Dems, Clegg, World Economic Forum linked. And you expect a different result? What was it Einstein had said? Keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. That's mental illness. And I think if you voted for Labour or the Tories, you must be mentally ill. At least if you voted for Reform, I can see your way of thinking, oh, well, charismatic Nige, don't worry about the Blair thing, don't worry about the vaccine thing, don't worry about Tice going out supporting Zelensky's cocaine habit. They're better than those two. And yeah, they probably are. But who voted Labour? Who voted for cheering at pensioners having their winter fuel allowance taken away? After some of their MPs have taken £4,000 in expenses to pay for their heating bills. Absolute murderers in my book. And some people voted for them. And some people would vote for them again. Guy yesterday said to me, oh, well, you know, the Tories were bad. I said, yeah, they were. So if you wanted a babysitter and you got offered Hindley and Brady or Ian Huntley, would you go for Huntley because he killed less kids? That's what you're doing when you vote Labour, in effect, isn't it? Can't get my head around it. But them yesterday, them Labour MPs, those that abstained as well, that shows absolutely no moral fibre, no backbone whatsoever. The Rosie Duffields of this world absolutely disgusted me yesterday because I thought she had more about her. Not just her. Look at some of those that, just get a list of those that abstained. It's not good enough. We shouldn't be sending all that money abroad. 11.6 billion Ed Miliband on this crazy drive for net zero when we put all our manufacturing industry out to China and Indonesia. They're putting double the amount of shite in the air that we ever could have imagined, doing everyone's manufacturing. They're getting rich and we're getting poorer. At a time when we've got record numbers of people coming into the country, most of whom we haven't even got a clue who they are, but there's no jobs for them. It's absolutely mental illness. I don't know. Anyway, sorry folks, but when I saw that cheering yesterday, I was absolutely disgusted, and I hope you are too. And I hope next election you stay away from the Tories, Labour and the Lib Dems, because they've got a track record of lying. If you vote for Reform, fair play, you know, at least let them get the same track record. Either prove me right or wrong. But if you can vote for an independent or a little party, fill your boots. Vote with your conscience. Oh, well, they'll never get in. No, they won't if people don't vote for them. But you need this lot out. You need them out. Oh, far right, far left, it doesn't matter what people call you or the name calling. Oh, you're racist if you vote for Reform. Rubbish. Vote with your head. Don't vote Labour and don't vote Tory. People cheering because old biddies and granddads have got a death sentence. What have we become? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and please throw the video a like. It helps me out. Speak to you soon.